Welcome to our presentation on how to split ACT public and private calendars into Exchange and a private PST. Many of our customers have requested a very particular feature. This feature is they will have an ACT calendar and they want their public items to be available in a company-wide calendar, such an Exchange folder or even in the cloud. And then they want the private calendar to be syncing to a private, local, or even a hidden folder within the Exchange environment so that other users cannot access it. So how do we do this? What we do is for private calendar items in ACT, you have to have the private flag enabled. For public calendars, the flag has to be disabled. And this flag is basically the little check mark on the calendar item in ACT that says private or not. If they're private, then we will deal with it as a private item. If this check mark is not enabled, then it's a public calendar. So first, let's start with Outlook. Here we have our public folders, and we have our personal folders in Outlook. In our public folders, we want to put our data into Tom's calendar. So this will be our public data. And then on our personal folders, we want to put our data into a personal calendar. It'll be right here, and this is where we're going to put the personal data. So one is on a cloud, on an exchange, running on a cloud on a hosted exchange, while the other folder is on a local PST file. So now let's go to 123Sync and set up all the folders. First we go into, let's focus on our public data. So we select the public folder, go here, click cancel because we want to be a public folder on Exchange. Just select the folder. This is going to be the Tom's contacts. Go for the calendar. And on the calendar, we select the calendar. Say OK. And here we select the tasks folder, which basically all of them are public folders. So now what we've done is selected the public folders where we're going to put all the public data. But now we have to go into the contacts filter, and we really don't want to put any ACT or Outlook contacts that are private. So we disable the inclusion of private contacts to those folders. And the same with the activities. We don't want to include private activities into those folders, so we disable that. So now only the public items that are not set as private will actually come over to Outlook or Exchange. So now let's look at setting up where to put the private calendar. To do this, we use a little tool what we call custom users. We call it, let's call it Tom's private calendar. We call it Tom's private calendar. See if it's highlighted, and if it's bolded, it's going to be a custom user. So while we're here, we're going to make sure that the ACT login is set up correctly. Our login, we log in as the same as Tom, so it'll be Tom. Let's put the password, let's test it, and it tests fine. So now what we're going to do is just put our contacts, select our contacts, and all these are going to go into a private calendar, and that's all we have to do. Also on the contacts filter, we really want to select only private calendar sync. So only the private items will be sent over to these folders and nothing else. Other than that, we're now all set up to actually do a full synchronization between ACT and Outlook. Also, when you've done major changes in how the contact and the calendar data is done, I usually like to start with a fresh set of data on the folders in Outlook. So I click here and basically delete all the contents in Outlook. I just clean everything that's out there. Go to the calendar, do the same thing in the calendar. So now what we've done is basically on tasks, we've cleared everything that exists in the Outlook calendar. So there's nothing there, so we can start with an empty set of items in Outlook. So now that we're ready, we just click on the synchronize button. We have two calendars. We'll sync users, and we'll sync the users from one calendar over to the others, and then basically do the private calendar sync between Act and Outlook. That's it. So let's get back into Outlook and see where we ended up with our data. So click on the public folders. Let's look at the calendar, and these are the recurring items on our calendar and they're the public ones. And we'll go to our private calendar, and here are our private meeting and a private call that we set up in Act. So what we're doing now is splitting the two calendars between Act and Outlook. This concludes our presentation on how to split Act private and public calendars into two different folders in Outlook or Exchange. Thank you for taking your time.